let's talk about the death of Brigitte Bardot. And what you will notice is that she has one of these duality twin names, which is common in Freemasonry, like Hulk Hogan, Charlie Chaplin, Ozzy Osbourne, Robert Redford. You will find that in Freemasonry they use the double letter a lot. So you have the same letter at the start of the name and the same letter in the surname. Or you have things like Trump's tariffs. These are all Masonic stories. They are showing you the twins' symbolism. Symbolism of the twin towers, which represents duality. This is the Lucifer worship of man's enlightenment. Through duality, through the knowledge of good and evil and its practice, man can become God or godlike. And this is why we have this promotion of celebrities and film actors in the 20th century and now in the 21st century, where you have influence, social media influencers. And that includes the truth movement, which is selling you the Luciferian doctrine. Now let's look at three women who came along at the same time. They all had blonde hair, they were all pretty, and they were all movie stars. And they changed the way women acted and how they were perceived. And this is all created by Freemasonry. Culture is a creation. It is not organic. There is no such thing as organic culture in our society. It is all created. And they focus on certain aspects as the agenda continues. And now it's a focus on technology, as it seems the ultimate end goal is to merge man with technology and another entity, which seems to be some kind of interdimensional spirit, which they believe has been behind the ascent of man through man's pineal gland. So out of the duality you get a synthesis, you get a trinity, and then you go up further up the ladder to God's knowledge, which is in the pineal gland. Man is on earth for a purpose. This is what they believe. And through this knowledge, man can become God. Man is already like a god on earth compared to the other animals. And so let's look at these three women, because you will find they have these twin duality names. Brigitte Bardot, Marylin Monroe, and Diana Dors. Brigitte Bardot in France, Marylin Monroe in America, and Diana Dors in England. And really it was Marylin Monroe which kicked it all off. And Marylin Monroe was obviously murdered, and she became this huge cultural icon celebrated in art by Freemasons like Andy Warhol. And this involves Freemasonry, the cult of the Temple of Solomon, and that country in the Middle East. Okay, it's all connected to that country in the Middle East. As you see, you know who runs Hollywood, you know who runs the music industry, and this is their beliefs. This is the Kabbalistic idea of man's enlightenment through understanding duality, and this is why they have these twin duality names. Brigitte Bardot, Marylin Monroe, Diana Dors. You have it again and again. Sylvester Stallone, Steven Spielberg. So we have Brigitte Bardot, who was involved in opening up the sexual idea of women with the soft porn industry. A lot of these actresses were porn stars. We all know who owns the porn industry. And they became film actresses, and they have different roles that you, at the time, like a woman would be stereotypically in the kitchen, or a mum or something like that. So they changed the image of womanhood, and this was all done on purpose. And you can see that all culture, no matter if you support it or not, these secret societies are behind it, are behind the transformation of culture. And so they changed the whole idea of a woman and what her traditional role was, and this has been all engineered, and we can see that in today's society. And it seems that the whole point of this in the end will be some kind of transhuman race on Earth. So we have Brigitte Bardot, Marylin Monroe. Now, she's famous for the JFK relationship. Now, there is a conspiracy theory that says that this was about the Roswell crash. Obviously, the Roswell crash was at the Corona debris field. Corona, crown, your third eye. And it was, they say, the aliens were attracted due to the Trinity nuclear tests. The Trinity. Out of the duality of the nuclear explosion, you had a third force, and they called it the Trinity. Okay? Duality, synthesis, enlightenment. And it said that the Trinity explosion attracted the Roswell aliens. But what I believe it's really saying is that they believe that there is this higher intelligence within man's pineal gland, and this is what they worship. And this is why man is on this mission of enlightenment, which you see in all the Masonic books. So here we have Diana Dors. Now, she was involved with the craze. She was involved with the mafia. So all the mafia, and it's all run by secret societies. These hard men, they're all run by secret societies. They control the policemen and the villains. And this woman was married to lots of directors, went to places where it was famous for Freemasons to meet, and she married guys who were linked to that country in the Middle East. So that type of society. We have Marylin Monroe, real name Norma Jean Mortensen. So Marylin Monroe was not her real name. Again, it's a construct of Freemasonry. You have the femme fatale, FF, again a creation of Freemasonry. So she changed the whole idea of what it was to be a woman. And these ideas are actually contradictory, as it's based on looks, but also she's seen as this kind of feminist icon representing female power. But it's all a construct, and that's what I'm essentially arguing, that you can see that this is a Masonic construct. And obviously the way she's been interpreted has changed. And so we have Brigitte Bardot, the same, BB. She was seen as a cultural battering ram against traditional norms. Carefree style, and we can see this as that they become icons. They sell their souls to be icons, to become worshipped like gods, when they are just humans. We can see that they're just humans because they grow old and they die. And so she was part of this sexual liberation post-war carefree nymphette, embracing her bodily desires, and she had her unconventional views, not believing in the traditional family, odd relationships with her son, and so forth. And more compassionate to animals than humans. And so you can see that the idea of femaleness has been changed and constructed by these secret societies, and now they're doing this with the trans movement, where they're reconstructing everything. They're reconstructing what it is to be a man, what it is to be a woman, what it is to be black, and everything. And they're all pushing this idea of the Christ consciousness, CC 33 of Freemasonry, which is this Luciferian doctrine that man can become God. And it's all part of this huge plan. Now, Brigitte Bardot, actually her real name was Brigitte Anne-Marie Bardot, so she did have a BB, a duality twin name. We have Marylin Monroe, obviously Kennedy, the mafia. She was likely killed. And we have the blonde hair, which is typical of MK Ultra. And this is another theme in Freemasonry, where you have Alice in Wonderland, you have Wizard of Oz, you have the Nutcracker by Tchaikovsky, he was a Freemason. And it's all about programming the mind. And you have Walt Disney, which gives these women these ideas that they can live in a palace and have everything, and everything's going to be perfect. And obviously, Marylin Monroe promoted materialism. So that's another huge thing which has been promoted, materialism rather than traditional religious values as they were perceived in the past. So you can see that they've done this to change the culture. And this has led to identity politics and the destruction of what it is actually to be a man or a woman, because they're building people up to the next phase, which is the transhumanist phase. And you can also see this with celebrity tattoos. You have all these celebrity tattoos with their sleeve, with their neck, and if you squint your eyes and look at them, it looks like the blue tattoos look like technology covering the body. This is preparing people for human, technological, interdimensional spirit hybrids living on this earth. And this is what they seem to believe the mission of man is, these secret societies. So you have her British counterparts of Marylin Monroe, people like Diana Dors, Barbara Windsor, all involved in the mafia. And Brigitte Bardot was famous for going to this Masonic cafe in London called the Café Royal, which was home to Freemasons Oscar Wilde, Aleister Crowley, Virginia Woolf, Winston Churchill, Noel Coward, Brigitte Bardot, Sir Max Beerbohm, George Bernard Shaw, Jacob Epstein, Mick Jagger, Elizabeth Taylor, Muhammad Ali, remember his name was Cassius Clay, CC 33 Freemasonry, and Diana. All Freemasonic construct. They control everything, and it's all connected to that country in the Middle East and their religion. So we have the femme fatale, FF, another archetype which comes from esoteric ideas of the woman. And essentially what it's saying is that the woman is embracing the biting of the apple. So man is embracing this Luciferian doctrine to become God, the forbidden knowledge, biting of the forbidden knowledge. And it's all connected to Freemasonry. This is why they have the twin names, and you can spot Freemasons easily with this twin names. They also like twin numbers, like 33 of Freemasonry. They always have the twin numbers, 11, which is AA. Angry astronaut, ancient aliens, you're 1-1. Out of the duality you get a synthesis, you get enlightenment, you get clearer to the knowledge which is located within man's pineal gland. The secret mission of enlightenment of man. So we look at directors and actors who have died. This year you've had loads. You've had Robert Redford, you had Rob Reiner, you had Ozzy Osbourne, Hulk Hogan, Brigitte Bardot. So you can see that this is not a coincidence. This is actually all constructed. And let's look at Meghan Markle. You will find that Meghan Markle has this duality name again. And when she visited Morocco, they did these MK Ultra butterflies on her arm. And if you look at these butterflies, they actually look like Baphomets. So you've got the two eyes here, you've got the ear here, the ears here, and you've got the horns there and the mouth there. So if you look at it that way, it looks like a Baphomet, as above so below. It also represents metamorphosis, the butterfly, and this idea of man's transformation through the Luciferian doctrine. And as I said, you have this again and again in Hollywood. You have this duality name, and obviously you have Sylvester Stallone, who's always doing the one-eyed symbolism. And it's all run by Freemasons and that country in the Middle East, and it's all connected to them. This is what they actually believe. They are Lucifer worshippers. They believe that a higher intelligence has been behind man's descent. And through this duality, through the practice of it, this is why they control all sides. Man can understand this secret knowledge which is located within man's pineal gland. Thank you.